guys, so I wanted to pop in really quick just to run over this method. I know that we went over this in the class, but just in case there were a few of you who either missed these notes or for those who maybe missed the class in general, this is the key ingredient to closing triple the amount of sales that you would normally if you didn't have a method. All right, so this is called the proof method. So everyone that was on and everyone that has joined me in the program that begins next week, right after Memorial Day, is going to be using this. All right, so this is the key to, like I said, tripling your sales. This is after you are attracting the right audience, and this is after you begin marketing to them. What happens a lot, especially with my students who join the program, is they begin to accelerate fairly quickly when they implement the strategies that I get to them. And then what happens is they get these leads and they're a little shell-shocked and they don't really know what to do with them. And they don't really understand the method behind actually closing them and how important that is. So you can have all of these leads, but you're not going to be successful if they're just sitting there or if you take advantage of the situation. You have to really hone in on your dream clients and close them right away so that you can get the sale and move on, right? So this is called proof method, PROOF, and I'm going to begin with P. So with P, I know we went over this, but like I said, we're going to dive a little deeper. So providing transformation messaging is the first step in ensuring that you're closing and securing that sale, closing that deal and securing that sale. So providing transformation messaging means that what you're doing is you're providing a vision within your marketing message. So every client that you're looking to sell something to has a problem, and you have the solution. I mean, that's the goal anyway, right? And that is why each and every person on this earth ever buys something. And that's also why your clients will be buying from you, because they have a problem that you can solve, right? So you don't want to explain to them all of the features of your product or service. They don't really care about that. They don't really know or understand. What you need to make sure that you're doing is connecting the dots between each of the features of your product or service and the benefit that they will get from that. So if they are looking to fix their credit, they're not going to understand all of the terminology and, all of the features that you may provide that is awesome. They're going to want to know what it's going to do for them at the end, how it's going to transform them in their life and their current situation. Same thing with selling a home, same thing with selling insurance or advertising, whatever it may be, especially if you're in a service-based industry. This can even work, obviously, for products as well. But you want to make sure that you're providing that vision within your messaging. So you're not going to talk about what your product or service does. You're not going to talk about, how awesome it is. You're going to talk about what the end result could be if they purchased that from you, or if they worked with you, or if they, basically gave you their money. What you will do to, what that service or product will do to their current situation. So you want to take them from point A to point B. And you don't really need to divulge in the details of how you're going to get them there. You just want to tell them where you're going to take them. And that is what's going to be the difference between you and all of your competition, because the competition is out there telling them how great their product or service is. You're telling them what it can do for them. And that's really what they care about. Okay? So P, provide transformation messaging. That is the first key. And that's going to make the entire sales process and the entire sales cycle that much easier, that much shorter. Okay? R is all about retargeting. So you're going to be retargeting them, which means that once someone becomes a lead and they find interest, there is usually, you can get lucky. A lot of times you can make a sale on the first interaction. However, especially for higher priced products or for most sales cycles, it's going to take a little more than the first interaction. Again, more for high-end services, high-priced products, and it's only the nature of the sale. It's because there's a higher risk, right? But to close that gap fairly quickly, you're going to want to implement some retargeting strategies. And we really get into the implementation side of this in the program. But as an overall bird's eye view, what that means essentially for those who are not familiar with, marketing terms, it's just reminding them. It's just, reminding them that they saw you, they had some sort of interest. They either clicked on your ad or they clicked on your website or they visited your Facebook page. Online right now, especially in social media marketing, you can retarget almost anyone. You can retarget them if they even interacted with you at all on Instagram. Even if they don't follow you, you can still retarget that person. if they have visited your Facebook page, if they've liked your Facebook page, if they have just engaged with you and your business in any aspect, just about any aspect, you can retarget them. And what that does is that closes the gap. So, some people think like pop-ups are annoying. That is a little bit of a different situation. But if you see an ad, right, let's say you're on Amazon, you add something to your cart, you get distracted, you forget about it, you turn away, or you're not really sure, you're a little overwhelmed, you got like 50 tabs up, you leave, right? Something happens, your kid calls you, whatever. You go back to your computer to do something totally different, and you see an ad pop up with that same product, right? Now, what did that just do? That reminded you about the product, and that made you take a second thought about it, and made you think, am I going to purchase this? Why was I interested? And just, it's extremely effective, and there's psychology behind it, but this is what all of the big companies want to do. And remember, if you want to be successful, you really want to model what all of the successful businesses and companies and just other influencers in your space do. Okay, so the first O, right? So P, provide transformation messaging. R, retarget or remind them. O is going to be outsource. So this is very self-explanatory, but when you begin to scale, which might happen fairly quickly, especially for my students in the social sales lab, what happens is that they begin to take on a lot, right? And the point of this is not to take on more work. It's actually to work less, but close more sales, or work smarter, not harder, right? So there's going to be a ton of leads that you're going to be receiving, and you're going to want to outsource some of the tedious tasks that may be taking up your time. So if you are needing someone to book appointments, right? If you get all these leads and then you're like, oh shit, I gotta get them on the phones, I gotta get them in person, get them on my calendar, or book a phone call with them, or whatever it may be, that is a task that you can easily outsource. And you can do it affordably and with reliable team members. If you use there's a bunch of them out there, but if you use the website, the company called Upwork.com, personally, that's where I've always gone to find reliable. That's just a reliable source. They're very secure, they're very affordable, and you can easily find someone to take care of those menial tasks for you that obviously you can do yourself, but it's just time consuming. And what you need to be focusing on is the actual selling part of it. Okay, so the second O, so let's recap. P, provide transformation. R, retargeting. O, outsource. The second O is outreach. So outreach actually goes in two different ways. So personal touches is really what's going to close the gap very fast for you when it comes to trying to sell something and being in that end part of the close of the sales cycle. Giving a personal touch, finding common ground. After you uncover their need, you're going to find out information about specific situations to them, and you can really relate back to that in all of the messaging, right? And then in addition to that, particularly the social media marketing, which is what this entire program is about, this has been the catapult to me earning over 90% of my business from social media. It's because I build authentic relationships with my dream clients. I find them on social media, or they find me. We engage in real conversation. I show genuine interest in what it is that they need help with or what they do, and I keep that conversation going. I'm not big with the templates and hey, thanks for connecting. Make sure you reach out. No one wants to do something before getting anything, and that's just the reality of it. You have to provide value, and the first way you provide value is by showing genuine interest in them. So also make sure that you're following up with your leads in a very personal way. So, say, hey, Cindy, how'd your test go? Or how's your daughter? Like anything that you find about them, it's just really good to engage in that. People buy from people that they like. So, although that should be self-explanatory, that's not always the case. All right, so the last one, we have provide transformation, P, R, retarget, O, outsource, second O, outreach, and then the last one, F, is follow through. So this is going to be the key difference between multiplying your sales. So this entire Social Sales Lab program is all about multiplying your sales. That's why it's called the 3X Social Sales Lab, because we take you from where you are now to tripling that. And if you're just starting, we take you from where you could be if you didn't implement any of these strategies to being that much more ahead than your colleagues or your competition. Although this is not a race, it doesn't really matter what the person next to you is doing. You want to make sure that you're getting the best possible advantage in your career or in your business. No one has time to waste, and you don't want to take 3 years getting somewhere that with this program can get you 3 months or 6 weeks to get you to that same area. You know what I mean? because this is exactly what I did about a year and a half into my career in sales to make 3 times the amount of money as I could have been making had I not implemented a smart strategy. You understand? So F is follow through, and this is going to multiply your sales because of this. When you get a sale or when you're about to close the deal, you want to make sure that you're following up with everything that you promised to them, because that's going to encourage them to what? To not only like you and work with you again, but it's going to encourage them to refer you to people. People only talk if they love you or if they hate you, and you don't want to be on the opposite side of that. So by just simply following up with what it is that you said that you would do goes a long way. Okay, so following up, remember, for the most part, the sale really begins after the sale. Okay, so post-sale, follow-up is everything, even if it's just to check in and see how they're doing, how it's working for them. Don't be afraid. Engage in that conversation, because the feedback can help you with your future marketing. And in addition to that, the feedback will will really emphasize that relationship that you've built with them, and that's going to get them talking to all of their friends, to all of their colleagues, to all of their peers, anyone. They're going to talk good about you, and they're going to refer business to you, and then you're going to have a bunch of cheerleaders on your team who's going to send you business without you even doing much for that, right? So if you guys, really understood and truly enjoyed what this proof method can bring and understand the value, go ahead and shoot me an email and let me know what you think of it. Let me know, which part you're most interested in or which part you think that you can begin implementing today, and we'll go from there. Okay, talk soon.